So Kyrie Irving missed the game due to personal issues. And he did not show up for work. And he let the coach know that he wasn't going to be at the game. And you would think, well, he probably called the coach maybe 24 hours or 48 hours in advance and gave him a notice like, hey, I'm not going to be able to report to the game tonight due to personal reasons. He decided to simply text the head coach. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, texting is a new way of communicating rather than just picking up the phone. You know why people love to text versus calling their boss? Because it's easier to do it than to just pick up the phone and call your boss. Because then your boss is going to ask you questions like, well, what's going on? What personal issues you have, okay? He can pretty much figure out in your phone call how serious or you just plain hooky, pretty much. You just don't want to work, all right? With a text, you can't do that. You're just sending text messages. And you don't even have to reply back if your boss send you another text asking, well, what's really going on. You can just read it and be done with it. Because in your mind, you're thinking, well, hey, I text him. I let him know I wasn't going to show up for work. I don't know why he's still texting me back. He already know in advance that I'm not going to be there at work. And this is the issue you have with inexperience. When you have an inexperienced person as as a boss, as a CEO, or as a head coach. Steve Nash. Why you think Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant green light for Steve Nash to be their head coach? And then as soon as they announced that Steve Nash was going to be the Brooklyn Nets head coach, immediately after that they say, well, we really don't need a coach. This team is so good, we don't need a coach. It's 7-11. 7-11. It's KD and Kyrie. Kyrie and KD. That's all you need. You don't need a head coach. Why do you think they greenlighted? Why do you think they're okay with Steve Nash being their head coach? Steve Nash is learning on the job, folks. This is his first stint as a head coach. Now, the first couple of games, you saw a lot of potential with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. All right? But, and like I tell you guys, look, the regular season is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You just can't really determine how good or how bad a team is after 8 or 10 games early in the season. Okay, you kind of want to temper your expectations on a team until you get a lot of evidence, a lot more games to determine whether or not how good this team is or how bad this team is. But clearly I could tell that this team right here, they don't like playing defense for some odd, strange reason. They love offense, hate defense. I wonder who are the two key cogs in that decision process, in that decision making. 7-11. KD, Kyrie, KD. And this is what happened when you have, and I hate using these analogies. A lot of people say when you have the inmates running the prison, or when you have kids running the house over the parents. But this is a clear indictment of being a player-friendly team, having a player-friendly environment, letting the players make decisions on who's going to be on your roster, who's not going to be on your roster, what offenses are you going to utilize, what direction this team is, what focus this team's going to have. Are we going to be a team that just scores a bunch of points? Because pretty much KD is trying to import the Golden State offense to Brooklyn. That's what he's trying to do. And he's going to allow Kyrie to just freelance. Just do you. Do you. And this is what happens when you have that type of mentality. If you want to win championships, you have to have stars. You have to have stars to win titles. But you also, guess what else you have to have? You have to have a coach with a mindset. Okay, you have to have a coach with a system that have stars, but you got to have players around those stars. And Brooklyn has all of these potentials except the coaching part. But they have 2 stars. They got a core nucleus of players that they already had on the roster. Okay, they got all the ingredients, but they don't have a chef. You have all the ingredients, all the great ingredients in the kitchen to prepare a gourmet meal, but you don't have a chef. And I feel like, look, this is early in the season, and I'm just throwing this out here. I just don't think Brooklyn is ready. Not when you compare them to teams. They have more talent than the Miami Heat, than the Boston Celtics, the Indiana Pacers, the New York Nets, the Washington Wizards. They're obviously more talented than any team in the East. They're more talented. And I feel like they're more talented than the Lakers, than the Clippers. But if you don't have a coach to galvanize the talent or import a system to make that talent flourish, then what are we talking about here? I feel like, all right, this is their first year together, Kyrie and KD. Now, they had brief moments of flash last year and the year before that year, but this will be their first year from start to finish being together. And these guys already have in their history, in their resume of being injured, okay? Kevin Durant missed a couple of days due to a nagging injury. And I'm pretty sure Kyrie Irving, before this season ends, he's going to be in and out because of injuries. These guys are injury prone, okay? If you have a coach there that can reduce their minutes and save them for the best part of the season, to save them for the postseason, to save them from themselves. If you don't have a coach with that type of mindset, and you got a coach that's pretty much learning on the job, it's a recipe for disaster. Look. And the Bucks, by the way. The Bucks are doing pretty well as well. It would not surprise me if they go to the post. Well, they will go to the postseason. It would not surprise me if the Heat knock them off, the Bucks knock them off, or the Heat, the Bucks, the 76ers, or the Celtics. It would not surprise me if one of those 4 teams they pair up, they knock them out of the series. It would not surprise me. Why? Not because those teams are more talented than the Brooklyn Nets. It's just a simple fact of those teams the coach there know how to manage the team and get the very best from the team. And Steve Nash is learning on the job. He just got inherited the best roster in the NBA. This is not Steve Kerr. I know a lot of people say, well, when Steve Kerr got to go to State Warriors from Mark Jackson, they won titles. It's not that, fam. Steve Kerr has been in the office. He also have had coaching experience. Yeah, it was his first stint as a coach, and he has won titles with the Chicago Bulls, with the San Antonio Spurs. This is not a Steve Kerr type of situation. I just look. It's early in the season, and like I always say, The NBA season is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You should have a bunch of games in your resume to determine which team is good and which team is bad, which team has weaknesses, which team has strengths. And we only played a handful of games. You really can't determine. But from the outside looking in, I'm telling you, I'm just throwing this out here. I'm going to leave the video up, that I'm going to gravitate to this video because I feel like it's coming. It has the ingredients of coming, that this is not going to be a good year for the Brooklyn Nets. I'm up out of here.